So this topic, equations of lines, is something that we haven't talked about. It's the only thing we haven't looked at recently. We finished it before March break. So it's been a while, and you really want to make sure you review it. If you remember the summary from yesterday, there's quite a number of questions on the final exam that have to do with this. So the first one, just determine the slope. How do I determine the slope between 2 points? Who remembers or has any idea? Thomas? You're on the right track, yes. So it's an equation. It starts with an M. Jake? Very good. See how just a little bit of a refresher, like one person says something like it's like x2 or something. Oh yeah, I remember. And all of a sudden it starts coming back. But that's why you want to review. Because if you've done this lots of times and you know it, you have to review it a little bit so it's fresh, and then hopefully it'll go well on the exam, right? So make sure you do some of these questions. The idea here, to help you remember what it is if I have 2 points, y2 minus y1 is finding the difference, the distance vertically between those points, and x2 minus x1 is finding the horizontal distance between those 2 points, and it's rise over run. So how far you go up divided by how far you go over. And we like slope as a fraction because we like rise over run. So whoops, I don't have a lot of space here. I'm going to do negative 4 minus 7 over 8 minus negative 2, which is 8 plus 2. Negative 4 minus 7. Folks, use your calculator here. Make sure you know how to enter these kinds of questions with negatives in your calculator. If you remember doing this, it can just be tricky about all the negative signs, but you can just use your calculator. And 8 minus negative 2 is 8 plus 2, which is 10. So the slope is negative 11 over 10. You would reduce it if you could. In this case, you can't, so we're done. State the slope and y-intercept for each of the following lines. There's only one. This is what people would probably do. They'd probably say, so this is how we state the slope and y-intercept. M equals B equals, and people would say, oh, B is negative 11 and M is 5. But that's wrong. You're a little bit on the right track. So you took the number and said that was the y-intercept, and you took the thing in front of x and said that was the slope, which is, like I said, kind of on the right track. But there's a really important mistake here in that this is not in y equals mx plus b form. So you have to put it, remember, this is like an algebra. You have to rearrange and solve this for y. This one's going to be a little bit messy. So I'm going to subtract 5x, and whatever I do to one side, I do the same to the other. And what do I do with the 11? Remember, I add 11 so that these have opposite signs. And so the 5x's are gone. I'm left with 7y. The 11's are gone. Equals negative 5x plus 11. What do I do now? It's not done yet. There's one more step. Yep, divide everything by 7. And it's not going to work out nicely, but that's okay. So y equals negative 5 over 7x plus 11 over 7. So the slope is negative 5 over 7, and the y-intercept is 11 over 7. We don't usually see fraction y-intercepts, but since you're not graphing with it or anything, it doesn't matter. That's fine. But slope fractions, very common. What if I had done the work and I wrote it like this? 11 over 7 minus 5 over 7x. All I've done is flip the x term in the constant term, but that doesn't change the equation. That the slope and y-intercept are the same. In this case, some people would think this is the slope because it's first. That's not how it works. The slope is the number in front of the x, the coefficient of x, whether it's a fraction or whole number, right? And without the x, notice I did not write an x there beside it. It's just the number. Those are little half-mark details of these questions. These are the kinds of questions that if you can kind of get all of these little simple ones right, that's a lot of marks on the exam. That's the kind of question you're going to see in that part A. What's the slope of the following line? What's the y-intercept of the following line? right? And you just state it. You may or may not have to rearrange for a question like that. It might already be in y equals mx plus b, but it might be written in like a backwards form, so you have to really think and get it. Some other examples would be things like this. Y equals 7. Y equals negative 3x. Y equals 2 minus x. Like those are all slightly trickier ones because they're missing a term or they're in the wrong order or something like that. So there's practice in the review for that. You could look back at the old sheet as well to figure that out. Brianna, did you have a question? For yeah. Okay, state the equation of the line in the form y equals mx plus b. So this one's easy because it gives me m and b. A lot of people have trouble with this, but it's really simple. An equation of a line, it even gives you an example right there. The y is the same. The x is the same. I just have to put in the m and the b in the right spots. So in this case, it's going to be negative 3 over 8. And the b is positive 7, so plus 7. That's it. That's the equation of a line. We didn't talk too much about horizontal and vertical lines, so I think I'm going to skip those questions. Skip. We're going to do, where's the next one? These ones. So determine the equation of a line with the given slope passing through the given point. So it doesn't give me the y-intercept in this case. It gives me the slope and a point. So these are the big questions of this topic in the course. This one and the next one. You really want to review this stuff. Make sure you've done 1 or 2 examples like this on your own. So I start with this, y equals mx plus b, where m equals negative 6. I don't use the point yet. That's what some people do, and it's wrong. This is like a 5 or 6 mark question. You can't answer it in 2 lines. If you look back at your test, that's what some people did. It's like 6 marks, and they thought they could just write one answer. That's never going to happen. So y equals negative 6x plus b. So I subbed in the negative 6 as a slope. But the last thing I have to find, y and x stay as y and x. In an equation, we don't change them. They're part of the equation. I have to find the value for b. How do I do that? That's where the point comes in. So now so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is y equals negative 6x plus b at the point 3, negative 4. So this is my x and this is my y. Right? X first, then y. So I put y in for y, negative 4 equals negative 6 times x in for x plus b. And then I solve for b. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Add 18 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 18 is 14. Therefore, my equation is y equals negative 6x plus 14. That's the kind of question you can't afford to leave blank or do this. This is maybe what people would do. They would go y equals negative 6x minus 4. They would just take this number and stick it in there. Not the y-intercept, so it won't work. And you're going to lose a lot of marks. So even if you don't get the question right in the end, if you make a mathematical error, you're going to get 4 or 5 marks out of 5 or 6, right? You're going to like 1 mark off. Big mistakes cost you a lot of marks. That's where you get yourself into trouble. Okay, any questions about that? Last one, determine the equation of a line passing through the following 2 points. So this is very much like the last question, but it's got an extra step because it doesn't give you the slope. So what do I have to do? Thomas? Very good. Find the slope. So negative 4 minus 5 over negative 4 minus 4. So that's negative 9 over negative 8, which is positive 9 over positive 8. Get rid of the negatives, don't leave them in. Now I can write the equation. Y equals 9 over 8x plus b. And I'll pick any point. Either point is fine. So I'm going to pick 4, 5. So 5 equals 9 over 8 times 4 plus b. So I'm going to go 9 times 4 divided by 8. 5 equals 4.5. Usually you don't get decimals in this. Subtract 4.5 from both sides. But a decimal of 4.5 isn't bad. 5 minus 4.5 is 0.5 equals b. Therefore, my equation is y equals, don't forget the slope, 9 over 8, x plus 0.5. Everybody good? So that's a big one too, because if you do that one, you can do the one before it. Like, good practice for both types. Really want to make sure you try a few of those. Graph the following lines using slope and y-intercept. Most people were pretty good at this at the time. A few people never quite clicked with it. Let's take a look at both. How do you do it, folks? Listen carefully. You got to state the slope and y-intercept first. That's part of showing your work. What is the slope of that line? Tamara, do you know? The other one. 3. It's always the thing in front of x, right? It's a coefficient of x. So b is the negative 1. What is b? It's the y-intercept. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a scale to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, my nice graph. B is the y-intercept. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. So it's a point. I start there. Rise over run. What's the rise and the run of 3? Some people would say, well, maybe it's 3 and 3. But that's wrong. 3 over 1, right? So you go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1, or down 3 over 1 that way. And notice how my line is sloping up to the right, like it's sloping the right direction. Okay, there we go. Make it red. There's my line. Okay, and if it was 3 over 3, that's the same as going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. That's like a slope of 1, not a slope of 3. Okay, what about this one? What's the slope? Brianna? Very good. And what's the y-intercept? So it's just the number 4. So on my graph, I go up to 4. And then negative 3 over 5 is up 3, 1, 2, 3. Over the other way, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's slope in the other direction. A lot of people get their slopes backwards. And again, you lose 1 mark every time you do that. It's so easy to just remember which way. Like, there's lots of different ways to do it. You have to figure out a way that works for you to remember. But to me, I just remember that, like, up to the right is positive and up to the left is negative. And then just figure it out from there. And then this one goes this way. And my line goes like that. And there we go. Okay, any questions about that? Finding the equations the algebra way. Graphing lines is something good to review. We haven't done too much of that in the last little bit.